Hey guys, it's Mel from Mel's Divination, and today we are going to continue. We're going to do part two of the reaction video I started yesterday, the day before yesterday, with this Unmasking Witch series. I did one video already. I will link everything in the description box below. The first video I did was done by somebody named Pam. It was her first reaction to Unmasking Witches, and it was about love spells, and it was she numbered the video number 1. 2 days ago, I think, the days are blending together for me. Maybe it was yesterday. I started the second set of videos. As far as that, I started doing the second video that she has posted and shared, and I was having a lot of tech issues. I was having a lot of glitchy things. I wanted to do these videos live so you could see my reaction live and unedited in real time, but right now my sharing screen is literally just limited to whatever YouTube is allowing me to do. And there was a lot of delays. There was a lot of glitches as far as the back and forth. My screen would go black. You wouldn't be able to see me. And there was ad issues and there was a bunch of stuff. So I ended up getting frustrated halfway through that video and said, forget it. I'm going to do the second half after. I'm going to record it. I'm going to edit out the glitches because there will be glitches. And then I will upload the video. So the only thing I'm going to edit on this video, I'm filming this privately live so I can do the sharing of the screen because it's the only way I have that ability because I'm extremely low tech. And we're going to continue the reaction video. We left off, we finished at number 3 was the last one we did yesterday. And so we're going to do 4, 5, 6, and 7. And the title was about, oh gosh, what was the title about? Of course, I'm already Unmasking Magic series with Pam, number 2, reaction to 7 signs indicating witchcraft in people. So we did 1 to 3 yesterday. That's part 1. Today we're going to do 4 to 7. I probably won't get this published until tomorrow because of the editing. I'm not a big fan of having to take extra time to edit stuff when I could do it live, but it is what it is. I'd rather do this until I figure out the glitches and it not wasting your time just staring at a screen going, okay, Mel, like, what are you doing? Because if you're like me, you don't have a good attention span. So anyway, I'm the owner of this channel. I do tarot readings, mostly is my general everyday life of full-time tarot readings. As I'm filming this, I am running a special on my website, melsdivination.com. Everything is 50% off. If you're looking for details on that, go to the community tab on my YouTube channel and it will show you all the information, the codes, and all those kinds of things. And I am also slowly getting back into doing live tarot readings as well. So I basically took a sabbatical, for lack of a better way to say it, over the last 8 months or so because my mother passed and life just was insane and trying to get back to normal. So new normal, really, without my mom here. And now we're picking up. So part 2 of the number 2 video for Pam, and we're going to get going. I'm not going to waste any more time. If you haven't seen the first part, I recommend you go and watch that first because it introduces her, it introduces what she's talking about, and that way this is a continuation of that. So I'm not going to get into more detail of explanation of that piece of it. Okay, let's get going. We're going to share screen of Unmasking with Pam. All right, here we go. I'm going to hit play. We're looking at sign number 4 of signs indicating witchcraft in people.
4. They have an immense hatred for the things of God. Now let me say this. The Bible says no one that is of God calls Jesus accursed.
Oh, there was a lot of issues with volume as well. And I don't know if it's their channel, if it's this feature of sharing. I don't know. But I was noticing that as soon as I would hit play, it would start to get quieter. So I'm going to be having to do a lot of that too.
Whenever you come in contact with someone who has an unusual hatred for God or the things of God, that is a clear sign. As a matter of fact, an atheist might not believe in the existence of God, but
I don't know if you can tell, but Pam is making quite the face. She's like, and I said this in the previous video, a lot of like this is done by a channel called Gracely Inspired, which is obviously it's a Christian based channel because it has the Bible, it has a dove here. So a lot of this is based on Christianity, even though she claims she's a psychic and a medium and a healer, and she doesn't claim to be associated with Christianity, but everything that comes out of her mouth is fear mongering and based on Christianity for almost everything. 85% of the stuff that comes out of her mouth.
Will not outright hate God, but when you see someone who hates God with an intense passion, that is a clear sign they're operating under a witchcraft spirit.
Watch her face. Did you see her face? I'm going to back it up a little bit. Just a little bit.
That is a clear sign. As a matter of fact,
right
an
here.
atheist might not believe in the existence of God, but will not outright hate God. But when you see someone who hates God with an intense passion, that is a clear sign they're operating under a witchcraft.
Look at the face. Look at the face. Right here. Look at her face. Clearly, I mean, I don't know what she's going to say, but I have a feeling I know what she's going to say because she seems to have a common theme. And I want to guess that what she's going to say is something about, yeah, witches don't like God at all, or it's going to be negative. I could almost put money on it that it's going to be negative.
Spirit.
I'm not going to agree with that.
Oh, she's not going to agree with that. Look at that. I was wrong. Look at that. I was wrong. Wow. Okay. So let's see what she has to say.
Completely.
Oh, completely.
We have,
Yeah.
sorry, we have met so many people that had religious trauma from their childhoods. They were raised in that way that if you said God, if you said Jesus, if you said really, it's sort of any deity, they would be out. Peace out. They literally walk out of the room. This is when we did in-person stuff. So I do I think that witches are like that? Yeah, I think a lot of them are. They don't want, because that's not who they pray to. That's not who they, they make it Jesus or God such an evil thing because they think almost the opposite, right?
Well, because that is the vibration of love.
Yes.
And they do not operate from the vibration of love.
Correct. No, they don't.
They don't. They operate from the vibration of fear. And they know that love in that higher vibration, it brings light to the fear.
So this is interesting because this woman, Mary Lynn, over here, she hasn't talked too much, but apparently she believes that witches don't come from a vibration of love at all. And Pam has said something similar, where witches are just they're evil, they're negative, they're here to hurt you, they're here to harm you. And I did talk about this in my video yesterday about how I don't know what their experiences were. And I am just talking about my opinion on what they're saying. But they're definitely putting every single witch in existence into the same category, which is very extreme.
That's true.
And there's your exposure.
Yep. Yes. Yes. I do want to point out, for me, that's not like, you'd have to have many signs, not just like, don't go just because someone doesn't, when you say the word God and they like sort of,
right,
leave the room or they kind of make a face or something, that could really just mean that they possibly, they have some trauma there.
Some trauma.
Because you should be. I'm going to say this. Did you have something to say? I have a little story.
Oh, I was going to say, so far, all four of these, if one person marks all of these boxes, I would, I would be
Exactly, but
thinking,
just one, I'm not so
maybe
sure.
one of these by themselves isn't a clear sign. But if they tick all of these boxes, I'd be like, ooh,
Yes,
something is amiss here.
yes.
Yeah.
And if you can't, this is kind of so I had a friend who had a store, like a gift shop.
I'm going to speed her up a little
term I'm
bit.
going for.
I forgot
And
she
she had
talks
some
slow.
like Buddha statues in there. I think every gift shop has like Buddha
Okay.
and whatever. And these two Christian women came in and they looked at them and they went, and they ran out because they weren't, Jesus or whatever. And
That's sad.
right. And my friend said, how strong is your faith if you can't even look at a statue of another faith? And I remember, and that is so true with all of it, even like with witches. What you can't even stand there and look at, someone say Jesus without being offended. How strong truly is your faith? Because if you're standing in your faith,
Right.
I don't care what you have to say. They're just words, and that's your belief. Okay, it's not mine, and you just kind of go with it. So there is something with that big reaction, and I think it's because they're not strong in their faith.
Yeah.
All right, I want to comment about that. I have had issues with the word God since I was like 13 years old, and I was not a practicing witch at that point. I didn't really know anything. I didn't know anything about witchcraft at the time. My issues with God, with Jesus, were based primarily in the religion of Catholicism, and I've talked about this in previous videos. I'm not a fan of the way that God had that word God has been so used and defined in a very particular way in certain cultures. And so I don't flinch away from that word, but I don't like to use it either, because what you consider God is not necessarily what I'm trying to say, or what your meaning is not necessarily what I'm interpreting. So it's not so much about not having faith. I don't have faith in the Christian religion. I have zero faith in the Christian religion. I have zero faith in the Bible. I have zero faith in Jesus. I have zero faith in it because of my personal experiences. Does that mean that I'm scared of it? Absolutely not. It's meaningless to me, actually. It's meaningless to me in the sense of that's nothing to me. I don't believe in that. Just like I don't believe in heaven and hell. That's my personal beliefs. But I would never be afraid of those terms. I'm just not a fan of those terms. So sometimes people will use the term God and universe and source and creator all interchangeably. And I don't get upset about that. But the man-made notion of God is what I'm not a fan of, because it's such a very specific, when it comes to the Christian religions, it's such a very specific expectation, the Abrahamic religions really, that God is this man that's up there, that's all powerful and all knowing, and it's one being only, and it's created everything. And I, in my beliefs, don't really buy into that. I could be totally wrong, but that's why I don't prefer that term, because that term is very, very, very specific about this type of energy entity, and I don't follow that religion. I don't follow that type. Doesn't mean I hate it. I'm indifferent because I don't believe it even exists. So does that make me scared? Does that make me weak? I don't. But comment and let me know if you think that makes me scared or weak, because maybe it does and I'm not seeing it objectively. See, this is the difference between me and these women that we're watching right now, is I'm open for feedback as far as maybe my perspective is smaller than I think it is. Because we don't always see ourselves accurately, right? And I'm very aware of that. Sometimes I don't see what other people see about me. So is this projecting fear? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not afraid of those terms, and I could take them or leave them. I don't care. It's like using something that's water. Like water is is harmless. It's neutral. It's very neutral to me. So to say that there's a weakness there, in fact, I feel like it's the exact opposite for me personally, because I am so strong in my own beliefs, in my own what I believe I understand with spirit and universe, that I'm not falling into line with what you're telling me is what God is. That's me standing strong in my own faith of my own things. So is that weakness? Is that fear? I don't really see how that can be, because I'm going against the grain of the normal in believing what I believe in. I'm not sure. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's get back to this.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Sign number 5. They are very manipulative. The golden star of every witchcraft agenda is manipulation. In fact, every witch is highly trained to be manipulative.
It's interesting when I pause this because the volume is going, oh, I put the closed captions on last time. Sorry, you guys, I forgot about that. It's interesting that the women's volume doesn't change at all when I'm doing this. It's the video that they're playing that seems to go up and down, which I have no idea how that would even, how that could be fixed. I don't think it can be. All right, so this is number 5. It's talking about every witch is highly trained to be manipulative. Highly trained by who? The devil? Who's training us to be manipulative? I've met an awful lot of people that are not witches that are more manipulative than any witch I've ever met. So let's just see.
This way, they can cause harm and go undetected. Manipulation can range from anything, including always trying to have the last say.
Manipulation can range in anything, including always trying to have the last say. Yeah, that's what a narcissist does. That's what somebody who gaslights does. That's not witchcraft at all.
Or trying to twist things to favor them. In families, those influenced by witchcraft's manipulation often end up making decisions for everyone.
In families, those often influenced by witchcraft end up making decisions for everyone.
You'd find a wife who turns his husband into a slave. When she speaks, you can clearly see him trembling like
You find a wife who turns a husband into a slave?
a 5-year-old kid. When she gives commands, he always tends to agree with everything.
When she gives commands, he always intends to agree with everything. This is a very bizarre one. I'll be interested to see what these 2 women have to say about it.
Even when he knows it is wrong, it's almost as though he is under a spell or something. Before long, the manipulator oversees finances, relationships, major decisions, and more by carefully orchestrating situations to reinforce their position as the family alpha, all along escaping detection as a controller. At churches, too, you find people arguing over position and even
Look at Pam's face over here now that they're talking about church.
threatening to harm anyone who doesn't bend to their rules. Confusion follows as members scratch their heads, wondering how such a divisive, untrustworthy, and theologically sketchy person ended up leading the church.
Okay, I want to talk about this for a minute. Confusion follows how a sketchy person ended up leading the church. That's a cult. That's not a church, and that's not witchcraft. That is a cult. That's extremely different. It has nothing to do with witchcraft. Nothing. I mean, unless if it's a cult based on witchcraft, but Jim Jones definitely wasn't practicing witchcraft. Charles Manson not practicing witchcraft. So this is very a strange claim.
I want to say the video that they chose to go with the verbiage just didn't match for me.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Because full transparency, don't have a lot of interaction with someone who practices witchcraft.
Right.
However,
yeah, she talks
what
about
I know
it
to be true is that their manipulation is not usually like in your face, throwing a glass of water in your face, standing there screaming to win an argument. It is much more subtle.
Yes. Yes.
It is much more demeaning.
Yes.
Demeaning.
Great points that you made. What they showed there, or he even said, there's a lot of domestic violence that he was talking about, and
Yes.
as really, could there be witchcraft in it? Of course there could be. I would never say 100%, but a lot of that, again, are broken people and assholes and
That's
narcissists,
what I
etc.
will agree with
Mhm.
her about. That
Um,
doesn't mean witchcraft.
And he said something about they're trained to be that way. I guess so. I think it's part of the, if we're just talking about witchcraft, that's part of it, but they don't do it. But so the force, like when he was like, they force you to, like they make a slave out of the spouse and they force you to do this and they force you to do that. It's not, they're trained to listen. They're trained to manipulate, like you said, on a much quieter level. They're the ones. I mean, sure, can they be more bold? They can be bullies. They can intimidate. All of that,
Sure.
absolutely. But they can also manipulate through being quiet and just listening and getting their way, sort of coming through the back door.
Mhm.
So that's just another, yeah, another.
Oh, I just lost my verbiage.
They use the term, and I've jumped ahead and watched a different video that they've done. They use that word verbiage all the time. It drives me crazy. I know it's the proper English, but like, what are you trying to look super intelligent and fancy and educated by using this word all the time? Like, come on. But anyway, that was me nitpicking. That was me nitpicking just because I'm tired of hearing that word. That really doesn't talk about their abilities as spiritual coaches and guiders or any of that. That's just me being nitpicky because I know I say certain words all the time and they're definitely not from the SAT vocabulary book. Anyhow, the whole manipulation thing, turning the husband into the slave, let me tell you a little quick story about that. And I don't think they're going to talk about this. And I do agree with what Pam said about that's domestic violence. It's not necessarily witchcraft. My parents were like that to some extent, not in a domestic violence way, not in a slave way, but my mother was the one who called the shots in the family. And it wasn't because she was a manipulator. It's because with a lot of things, she was the main person involved. So, for instance, my mother and my father, before they even had us, before they even bought a house, they had a conversation about money. And my father wasn't very good at managing his bills. And my mother was extremely good. And there was a back and forth about my dad being like, I'm the man, I should be doing this. And my mom being like, but you're not, it's a weakness of yours. And we're trying to buy a house. And let's make a deal. And so they made a deal that, and she told me this story all the time whenever I was thinking about moving in with somebody. They made a deal that she told him if she could save X amount of dollars by this date, whatever it was, for a down payment on the house without them going without them, being poor, with them still being able to live their lives, then he would allow her to manage the money going forward. She wanted to show him, I can do more with this. You're not seeing it because you don't have that skill, which there's nothing wrong with that. We all, as spouses, as partners, as not that I'm a spouse, but we all have strengths and weaknesses in areas. She wasn't good at doing electric work. She wasn't good at cutting the grass or taking out the trash or doing the physical labors of the home, but she was very intelligent and very good at managing money. So they had a deal. Not only did she get X amount of dollars in the set amount of time, but she doubled what she had said she was going to save. And after that, there was no more discussion about it. She managed the money. She kept him involved. She wouldn't make big purchases or take out a loan or do something crazy with money without having a discussion with him about it. They talked about it. It was his money as well. She didn't treat it like it was just her money. But the day in, day out budgeting and making sure the bills were paid and certain money was put aside and all that, my mom handled all that. And it wasn't because she was manipulative. It's because she had a talent at it and she was very good with it. And that doesn't make my father a slave. And then the other things with the choices of the day in, day out life things, my mom was the one who would decide what would be cooked for dinner because she was the one that was cooking. And she would also be the one that decided what kids were doing what. So if I wanted to go over a friend's house, or my brother wanted to do this or what, we would have to ask mom. And the reason why we would have to ask mom is my mom was the caregiver. She worked part-time, but she raised us. She was with us at home when we would get home from school every day. She was the one that would have to drive us places and drop us off. She knew the other parents. She knew the routines. My dad worked. He'd get up and he'd work, and he wouldn't get home until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And we'd see him on the weekends. And that was it. So my dad didn't always have a knowledge of what school projects needed to get done, what program did so-and-so need to get to, what was already discussed, what parent is not responsible. Like, my dad didn't know all those things because it wasn't part of what he did as a parent, because my mother was in that. And if one of us got in trouble, yeah, she would talk to him about it. Like, it wasn't just he wouldn't know. So they co-parented together, but in a way that it's because of it's what worked for their lifestyle. It wasn't her trying to manipulate and control. That was her role and how she provided to the family, and this was his role and how he provided, and they worked that out they were very cohesive with that. I'm not saying they were right or wrong or that's the best way to do it. There's a different way for every situation, but that wasn't witchcraft. That wasn't manipulation. That wasn't slavery. That wasn't control. That was, we had a discussion, but when we got married, this is what we're doing, and this is how we work as partners. That's all that was. So this is like to the extreme. Again, everything that these women are talking about is to the extreme.
Control through
Yes.
home. Control
Yes.
through
Yes.
that soft breeze, not a violent storm.
Yes.
And can they? Sure.
Yes.
Will they? Sure. But not
narcissism.
initially.
Right.
Not initially. It is that calm undercurrent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen is many witches, and this is just many witches are single. They have their coven for friends. Like they
don't have a
pair
coven
up a lot. And when they do pair up, it's someone who believes in the witchcraft. Like I don't think I have yet. One of my clients.
Before I let her finish, if you are a witch and you are comfortable with commenting, I would love to hear if you are married or not. I know that there's some followers that are still in the broom closet and that their spouses don't even know that they are a practicing witch. I know that for sure because I've spoken with some of you. I don't know if you still follow the channel, but in the past year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we've talked about this previously. I have a very good friend who is a practicing witch, who is married to a very wonderful man who is not in that world at all, but he is okay with her being in that world. Your spouse, your partner, your whoever that you share your life with, if you choose to share your life with, that is, they don't have to partake. That's old school thinking. Oh, a Catholic has to marry a Catholic, a Christian has to marry a Christian, an Episcopalian has to marry an Episcopalian. That's 1960s, 1970s thinking. That is not 2025 thinking. There is no reason why two different approaches to spirit, to religion, to culture can't be together if they respect one another. That's the key. Because I did date a very extreme Christian for a while, and it only worked when he wouldn't bring up religion. When he would bring it up, it would be a problem. And it was never going to work long term. It was a short term thing. And prior to him, I dated a Muslim for a very long time, for over 4 years. But the more I got into doing this work in the open, the more he tended to pull away. I don't know if that was a coincidence. There was a lot of other things that shifted in both of our lives at the time that we started to pull apart from one another. That was one of the factors. It's not the only one. Could it have become a big problem eventually? I don't know. Truly, I don't know, because I never tried to include him. I would ask him if he wanted to be included. He'd say no. I respected that. Same thing with his religion, and he wasn't hyper religious. He drank alcohol. He never went to mosque. Like, he had sex before marriage. Like, he was not following the religion. So I don't know. I don't know if it would have worked or if it wouldn't have worked in the long run when it comes to the religion piece of it, because there was other issues there that had nothing to do with religion. But I know people who have done it. I know people who are Catholic and Jewish that are married. If you respect one another's beliefs, there's really no reason why you can't be on two different pages about it.
Who's getting out of witchcraft? She broke up with someone. Like, she's had those kind of, like, they broke up because they weren't on the same page with that. Like, they're not going to stay in a relationship that isn't on the same page. They're just not.
Not
Right.
true.
It's
Right.
likely they're
Because
going to break up.
there's no benefit. It's a waste of their energy.
Wow. So they're saying that witches will not stay in a relationship with somebody who is not a witch because there's no benefit. So inaccurate. I know people already that are exactly the opposite of what these people are saying. They're talking about extremes again. Somebody that I dated not long ago, unfortunately, he passed, God rest his soul. We were talking about sharing our lives together and we were planning on that. He was Catholic. He knew what I did. He knew all about it. And there was no issues between us. In fact, he liked hearing me talk about astrology. He thought it was fascinating. So this nonsense, and I would have married that person if life had gone differently. He and I would have settled down and been married and living together happily, both practicing different approaches. So this is just nonsense. This is extremes. These are people that can be, if you're a stubborn person and you can only date a witch, then yeah, that's going to be a problem. But the majority of the people that I know that are practicing witches, in fact, I'm going to be doing a ceremony. I'm marrying people. I'm officiating a marriage, a wedding. It's not a religious ceremony. In fact, I was literally told Jesus is not allowed at my wedding, which I absolutely love. A very old dear friend of mine. We were the two weirdos in high school, and her wedding, part of the ceremony is hand fasting, and we also have to do the legal piece as well so that they're legally married. But they're not both, like, he's not a practicing witch. He's not, and I actually don't even know if she's a practicing witch. I've never actually flat out asked, but it's just so silly. I mean, her bachelorette party is going to be in Salem, which I'm super excited about, but it's just so silly. That's just, that's very closed-minded, judgmental and closed-minded. That's all that is. And you could take that extreme to anything. Politics, big stuff around politics. You could take that extreme, and that has nothing to do with religion. You could take it to the extreme about lifestyle. Alcohol, no alcohol, chemicals, no chemicals, holistic, no doctor, like any polar opposites. You could be extreme and be like, I can't be around that, of any area of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
But so that one, that's a lot of people, a lot of very unhealthy, unhealed.
So it seems like they don't agree
people.
that this was a
And really,
sign of
however,
witchcraft for
the manipulation piece is accurate.
That is accurate. Yes, ma'am. Yes. All right, here we go.
Okay, before we get into the next one, I did just want to comment, and we talked about this in the previous video, part 1 of this. They talk about how witchcraft is manipulating people. And that is like the main focus that this woman, Pam, how Pam labels witchcraft is you are manipulating, you're casting spells, you're manipulating. That's what witches do. They manipulate. And she's using that term in a very negative way. when you do spell work, are you manipulating energy? Yes, but so is Reiki healing. This woman does healing. She's manipulating as well. She's just not using that that verbiage, that terminology, right? So manipulating, she's using it in a very negative connotation, but, and I said this in the previous video, when you're doing this is with the assumption that people are casting spells on others. If you're not casting a spell on somebody else, maybe you're doing it on your home, your property, your space, your office, your room, whatever. Who are you manipulating? Yourself? So very, very one-track mind about witchcraft here.
Number 6. Unscriptural practices. Witchcraft spirits seize opportunities to substitute God's power with other sources. So they
Witchcraft seizes opportunities to substitute God's power with other sources. Okay.
They prescribe alternate remedies that sway your dependence from biblical paths.
They prescribe alternate remedies that sway your dependence from biblical paths. Yep. Super Bible thumping, 100%.
For instance, they tell you to carry charms, crystals, or candles for protection. Or they instruct you to bathe in rivers, sprinkle salt in your home, or bury items on your property.
Okay, crystals, sprinkle salt, bury items. This is going against biblical things. Interesting.
While seeming innocent practices, these rituals remove your faith from Christ to objects.
They remove your faith from Christ to objects. This is extreme Christianity right here.
The aim is to take away your focus from God and put it in items made with the hands of men.
Okay, before we jump back up, I want you to look at their faces. Look at their faces right now. I'm going to be interested to see what they have to say about this.
Be cautious of touted quick fixes or magical solutions giving you false assurances. Jesus died for you and has already paid the price for your protection and can never give you more protection more than what God has. You do have any items given to you by anyone for protection or covering, get rid of them. As long as you keep that item in your house, you will continue to remain under their control. Give you items to swallow and consume, they are just as dangerous.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay. Let's see what Pam's going to say about this one.
All right, there was a lot there.
Okay, we could have just done that one and probably
Right.
done the whole video.
I tried to write down as much as I could, but everything he was saying, wow. Yeah.
Okay, just because the candle, just because
Right.
crystals, there is so much of that that is not witchcraft in and of its own self.
Yes.
I agree with that.
I love the relaxing glow of candlelight.
Oh, yes.
Now, I guess the key words there would be using them as protection, and I think that is
That's
that
where
was
I want,
his focus.
that's where I want to go with it. Mhm.
Yeah,
But
but
you're
just
right.
the items themselves.
Yeah, no.
No.
So we always say that like attracts like. So if you think that you're in some sort of danger and you're carrying something, because this is going to, what you're actually doing is telling the universe that you need to be protected from something, and you're going to draw those things to you. So, excuse me, those of you who've watched Mary Lynn, pardon me. Someone doesn't want me talking.
Oh dear God, really? Hold on. Someone doesn't want her talking because she has a tickle in her throat. Come on, I can't stand it when people do that. Yeah, that'll happen on TikTok too. If somebody's doing, I can't speak. I can't get the words out. They don't want me to say it. Stop it. Stop it. Not everything is a sign. Not everything is a sign. Sometimes people just get tickles in their throat. It happens to me all the time. Not when I'm doing readings. It happens to me while I'm sleeping. I'll get a tickle and I'll wake up and I'm coughing. I have allergies. I get postnasal drip. Like, stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Nobody's trying to attack you while you're recording this video. Like, come on. Anyway, now I don't even know what the heck I was saying. I already lost my train of thought of what was happening before that, because that just pissed me off so much. Oh, the protection, like attracts like, right. Okay. So she just said like attracts like, and if you're carrying a talisman around thinking you need to protect yourself because something bad's going to happen to you, then then you're calling it to you. Not completely true. I agree with shades of that. So it's not that she's super wrong there, but at the same time she's twisted it, which is what she's done with most of what I've said, how I see things. I have talked to you guys before about demons, portals, negative entities, heavy energy, and I don't believe in any of those things, really. For the most part, I don't believe in any of those things. And I have said this before in other videos about be careful about, just because I don't believe in those things doesn't mean they don't exist. And also, just because I've never experienced anything with those things doesn't mean you won't ever have that experience. So don't just be like, oh, well, Mel doesn't believe it. Hasn't had any experiences. She doesn't think it exists, so it doesn't exist. You need to base it on your own thing. All right. But when it comes to heavy vibrations of any kind, you can be in a store and there's a heavy vibration because the air quality sucks, or because somebody had an argument, or maybe because the products in there are low quality, of any kind. Okay. I'm not going to give out a bazillion examples, but I'm going to use an example that I personally witnessed at one point, where a friend of mine, who I'm not going to say their name, never wanted to go to Salem, Massachusetts. They were petrified. And at this time, they were also subscribing to a very specific train of thought in spirituality. And the person that they were following the most was somebody who I considered a false prophet that was taking extreme advantage of my friend's fear. And my friend was raised Catholic like me, but had a lot of growing to do as far as trusting herself. And so she would refuse to go to Salem. I wanted to go to Salem. I wanted to go to Salem for years and years. I wanted to go to Salem, and she didn't want to have anything to do with it, because she truly believed if she went to Salem, something will attach itself to her and follow her home. Do you know how many people come and go from Salem every day? And that does not happen to them. Nothing attaches itself to people every day at Salem and follows them home. Like that, the amount of news that would happen if that, like, Salem would capitalize on that. It's bullshit. And I was supportive of my friend, but I didn't agree, and I didn't believe with what she was saying. And I was like, so this is the example of like attracts like. If you believe something is going to attack you, and you're so scared that you won't even go to certain locations, you are allowing yourself open for negative energy. I'm not saying you're allowing yourself open for an attack, because I don't really believe in that, but you're allowing yourself you're lowering your own vibration because you're scared. And if you're that scared, you're really lowering your vibration, and that allows other energies to come through. And what I mean by other energies, to be clear, I'm not talking about negative witchcraft. I'm not talking about demons. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, we as people are sponges around everything that we're around. And if there's people around us that are operating at a lower vibration because they're miserable, we're going to absorb that, and we're going to feel that because you're scared. You're going to pick up sensations and things that aren't even really there, because in your head, you're petrified. That's where I agree with like attracts like. Now, I wear a hematite ring. I wear all kinds, and I talked about this the other day. I wear all kinds of crystals when I do readings. when I go out in public. And it's not because I think something's going to happen to me. It never has been. It's because I am a sponge. I am an empath, and I need a filter of how I get people's emotions. So when I read for my clients, if I don't have any of this stuff on, I used to do tarot readings live on camera without something on my head, without a veil of any kind on my head. And if you go back, I don't know if those videos are even available anymore on my channel. They might be. I might have deleted them. But once upon a time, when I first started doing live tarot readings online, I used to get really dizzy and nauseous when lower vibrational clients would come in. And it would really mess with me. I would have to stop. I'd have to hold on to my selenite and ground myself. I'd have to step away for a minute. And it wasn't until, and I still had my crystals on. And it wasn't until I started veiling that it protected my energy more from absorbing, and because I'm a channel, I'm a direct channel when I do readings. So I'm directly connecting to you and your guides through my guides. And so I'm absorbing information from you. I'm absorbing energy. I'm absorbing emotion. In fact, if I read for somebody that is intoxicated, I will feel intoxicated. I will get really dizzy and nauseous, and I won't be able to do the reading doesn't come through clearly. So is that because like attracts like? No, I'm not intoxicated when I'm working. I don't drink when I work, when I'm doing readings for people. No. Is it because I want to be dizzy and nauseous and I'm putting that out there? No. So this is a very tiny example of one thing that they're talking about, when really sometimes stuff needs to be done, not because I'm not in fear. I just want to protect my energy. I don't want energy vampires feeding off of me. I don't want to feel the intensity that somebody's going through when they're having a hard time. I want to be able to help them. But if I'm feeling all the feelings, how am I going to help them? I'll be as much of a mess as they are. When I get anxious clients, they make me anxious. My heart rate will race because of it. So yeah, no, I need to protect my own bubble of energy. And that's not witchcraft. That's energy exchange. Huge difference.
Marilyn and I don't have tools. I have my drum that I use when I'm clearing,
Which is a tool.
doing, land clearings. Sometimes we'll use, what is that crystal that we use? The only one that we use, selenite, because it's a neutralizer, right? But we don't use,
that's a tool.
We don't use tools.
That's a tool.
And part of it is for that reason. He uses the word Jesus and we say spirit.
It's fun. See, she says spirit because she does not want to be looked at as Christian, but she's totally Christian, who does a few little things here and there that are on the line of witchcraft, magic, Reiki, healing. Selenite is a tool. End of story. Period. Exclamation point. It's a tool. So she seems to be very in denial about how some of the work that she does and the things that she does are also magic or connected to magic or connected to witchcraft. Just because she doesn't identify as it doesn't mean it's not happening.
That higher vibrational spirit, we do trust in spirit. And we've done so much healing, and this is for everyone. We believe everyone's here to do it, to find your own worth and to stand
Pat yourself on the back
strength.
there.
So you don't need all those tools for anything.
Right.
We certainly know people that carry crystals in their pockets and whatever, and that makes them feel good. Okay, but they do it.
Yeah.
They do it for like to help them stay grounded, or there's usually that. But the protection, I would not ever carry something for protection. You're just setting yourself
up for protection. I have a couple of clients that have some crystals that they really like, and we've had that conversation about the purpose of a crystal.
Yes. Yeah.
My belief is, if you like the crystal, it speaks to you or it feels a certain way, is that you use that to pull in your own vibration.
Yes.
To enhance your vibration.
Or maybe it reminds you to do that. You feel like you're talking.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I need
yes.
whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Perfect. Perfect word.
For protection, hell no. And
Oh,
drinking something, giving that,
Oh yeah,
no.
she got into a
No.
whole potion thing in the first video.
You want to
Go
get
watch
sick
the very
real quick?
first video.
Yeah, drink some of their shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes on and on about it in the
not
first
good.
video.
No.
That was actually a really good one. I liked that he brought that up.
Mhm.
And there are no quick magical fixes to whatever your issue is. Typically,
I don't know what she's going to say next, but she's not wrong there. Quick magical fixes, even proper spell work, typically you're not going to see something happen overnight.
I'd say 90% of the time, the issues in your life are caused by you. And that's where you need to look, is go within, do some healing through, whether it's healers, meditations, therapy, whatever it is, it all starts with us. The problem.
I don't disagree with that. That's why sometimes if you guys are commenting on my baneful magic spell work, where I have the freezer spell and I have the banishing spell, and I have the hex, you need to start with the real world first. You need to start with the mundane first before you try to banish or attack or do something with other people. Problem solve in the real world first. Magic only goes so far. Like, if you're not trying to fix your problems or address it, or like if you're doing the same crap over and over that's creating problems for yourself, and you do a spell but your behavior is still the same, that's not going to change anything. So, and I am very, very much an advocate for therapy, but the way that some of the stuff that she's saying is a little bit, again, extreme. Therapy is a great thing, but you can also do spirituality, witchcraft, magic, and therapy.
Things that are going on in our life, 90% of the time, we've done it ourselves, and we're the only ones that can fix that and move through
I don't
it.
agree with that completely.
Yeah. So if that's what you're looking for to help cure you or fix, I say no to all of it.
No,
Yes.
there is no quick fix.
No.
There absolutely isn't.
No.
Energy healing is never a one and done.
No.
Boop, you're healed. No.
Right. No.
Uh-uh.
And the only time I would drink some herbs or something like that would be from like maybe a Chinese doctor or something like that, where that's, if you that alternative type thing, I would never go to a witch or an herbalist or something for any of that.
An herbalist?
I went to years ago.
Wow. She wouldn't even go to an herbalist. Herbalists are not witches. Some witches are herbalists and some herbalists are witches, but an herbalist and a witch are very, very different categories. An herbalist is, for those of you that don't know what an herbalist is an all natural person who works with herbs, plants, and not in a magical way. They work with plant properties. So for example, stinging nettle, that's an herb that I love. And it helps with different things. I follow She Is of the Woods. So if you want an example of a YouTube channel of just an herbalist, go find She Is of the Woods. She is an herbalist. She is not a witch. And stinging nettle is great for things like your energy, for helping your adrenal glands, for helping with allergies. And I'm not telling you to go out and get stinging nettle. Please do your own research. But I love stinging nettle for those reasons. And that is not witchcraft. Is it? It's crazy to me because herbalism and medicine are very, very similar, where this product right here does this thing. Like, oh, you take Tylenol and it helps your pain. Let me think of, or opium. Let's say opium, morphine. Morphine comes from opium, comes from the poppy opium, I believe. I might be messing that up. But painkillers, certain painkillers come from the poppy plants. And that is a plant. That is technically way back started with herbalism, and it turned into medicine because it's become regulated and run by big pharma. Now, I'm not even going to go there, but medicine and herbalism are very, very, very similar to one another. One is regulated and run by the government and by programs like the FDA and doctors, and one isn't. But at the same time, like lavender helps relax you. It helps calm you. It helps you get sleepy and relaxed. Is that witchcraft? No, those are the properties of chamomile. Mint is good for your stomach. Ginger is good for digestion. Are those things witchcraft? No, it's herbs, similar to medicine. So, I'm sorry, that just total tangent, but like, damn. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done, I think.
So I went to an acupuncturist
Yeah.
for, well, so I could stop drinking. Didn't work. But
Sorry.
the acupuncture was fabulous. And he wanted to prescribe me herbs. I couldn't do it.
No.
I just couldn't do it. Mm-mm.
And if that is your reaction, I want to say, go with that reaction. No is no. Your body is immediately reacting, saying, I don't want it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now my nose is itchy.
But the acupuncture itself, oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Yes.
So I am not opposed to alternative. We're alternative.
We are.
So clearly we're not against alternative. But
You're not as alternative as you think.
But you have
are.
to know who you're dealing with. I would
Yes.
not just go into some shop of whatever kind, where some metaphysical or witchy shop, and I'd be really careful.
Yep.
All right, here we go. I can't remember what number we're on, but we're close.
I don't either.
I think this is 7.
Sign number 7. They like dark theme things. If you notice that someone is unusually drawn to dark themes like blood, violence, and death, that's a clear sign that they...
So sign number 7 says they like dark themed things. So basically it's saying that any woman out there that likes true crime is a witch.
They have a witchcraft spirit operating in them. Anyone who is born of God loves light.
Anyone who's born of God loves light. Dear Lord. So extreme. These extremes are what bug the shit out of me. Okay.
But someone who is of the underworld tends to be attracted to very dark, eerie things.
Oh, of the underworld. So watch out, housewives out there watching true crime. You're of the underworld.
From their dressing to the way they live their life, you can tell they have a love for evil.
From the dressing to the way they live their life, you can tell they have a love for evil. Do you guys think I have a love for evil? Because I mean, I'm wearing aqua today and pink. Love for evil? I actually even have on my family heirloom right now that has Mary and Jesus because it's a family heirloom and I love it.
They tend to glorify death or anything that deals with it. Now, while most of these things I've mentioned might sound scary to the average person,
they tend to glorify death. No, pretty sure people that are obsessed with true crime do not glorify death. They try to understand the psychology between the crazy people.
remember, Jesus is more powerful than any power of darkness.
I have stuff to say about this one. So, I love scary movies. I love haunted houses, either with real earthies in there or the kind that just come out at Halloween and you go to them. I love all of that stuff. South Park has a term with one of the kids. Their parents love to watch those TV shows that are all about murder and stuff, and they call it murder porn. And so I love me some murder porn. So
I agree with her on this.
But that goes with that mysterious. They do like to be mysterious and dress in dark stuff and kind of go toward the...
Okay, never mind.
No, and no.
That one was really funny, I thought.
No.
Yeah.
No, and no.
No. And now if you do put it all together, they tend to be pretty negative people.
Yeah.
They do see sort of...
Okay, so I agreed with them for like 2 minutes. Not so much now.
The downside of everything, or the pitfalls, or they like the sort of the negativity and
Dark humor.
Yes.
Dark humor can certainly be, but that's not a telltale sign.
Exactly. So that one's probably the most that I would say.
Okay. So many of these signs are describing wounded people.
Yes.
Severely wounded people.
That I'll agree with.
And you said that you have never met a healed witch.
Never.
Yeah,
And I've met quite a few of them now.
That was in part 1, so go back and watch that.
They don't know that they need healing. They think
you don't know that you need healing either.
Here's another thing.
And a lot of people do, man. A lot of people think they are healed.
Budgy.
And here's a sign, but it's not just a witch thing, is they think everyone else is the problem. But that's a broken person thing.
Oh,
right? That's
right.
a me thing.
That is also pretty common.
You can
But
hold the
in
mirror up to
revenge,
your
they
face
will.
today.
Revenge is huge for them, for witches.
Mhm,
Witches will come after you for the slightest thing.
mhm.
Just the
No.
slightest thing.
No,
So
that's
the
extremist.
biggest takeaway for me in
That's
all
not
of
the
these signs
majority.
is each one has a result of power.
Absolutely. Yes. And it's all about them. They're not thinking about you in any way at all. What I think is even worse are the ones that just do it for money. Yeah, you pay me money and I'm going to
Oh, sure.
do spells or do whatever.
Okay, I do want to talk about that part really quickly. I do not encourage any of my viewers to pay for spell work to be done for you. I don't offer it and I don't encourage it. And the reason why I don't encourage it is because you have no control of what that person is doing. You have no idea what they are doing. You don't know what the intent is. You don't know what the materials are. I don't care if they're videoing themselves or not. You don't know what's going on in their brain at the time while they're doing it. And even the ones that are well intended, because there are really good spellcasters out there that are well intended, are imperfect, they're human, and they're not you. So when somebody is doing a spell for you, they're not attached to the outcome. They don't care. Even if you're paying them, even if they're coming from a really good place, it's not as important to them as it is to you. So doing your own spell work is the safest, smartest thing to do. End of story there. So be careful about giving people we can do coaching. I offer coaching. So if you're looking for help doing spell work, if you're looking for coaching support around witchcraft, we can do coaching all day long. I'm not going to do the spell work for you, but we can talk about it. We can work through things. We can problem solve together. Totally. I offer that. I don't offer spell work for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think those are the worst ones.
Mhm.
And again, spells work when you
The worst ones, we've talked about this previously. I believe that the worst ones are the ones that are out to scam you, and there's a lot of them out there nowadays, unfortunately.
the biggest thing is you believe in them. You believe that spells are going to work on you. You believe that this is a spell. You believe that because a lot of witches will, in their own way, sort of let you know that they've done something. And so it's a mind F.
Mhm.
They want to get in there.
And if you have unhealed
Woof.
wounding,
Yeah.
now we are never healed. We are never fully healed in our lifetime.
Of course not.
But if you are
We have a
actively
few
healing
minutes
and that
left.
there
We're
are
almost
traumas
done.
that you have done healing around, it makes their job, excuse me, way more difficult.
Yes.
Way more difficult. And if you're aware, say you don't believe, you don't disbelieve, you're aware of, witchcraft, and you've done all this healing around something, and all of a sudden you start acting so bizarrely that it just doesn't make sense. Has there been something put out there that I accepted?
And it's an opportunity to heal.
Yes.
So thank you to that witch who thought you were going to take me out or do something bad to me. No,
Yep.
thank you. You just pointed me to this wounding, this trauma that I have, and I didn't realize I had sort of been in it.
Yes.
I'm going to run to Pam or Maryland and we're going to get this taken care of. Yeah. So it can really work in your favor if you see it that way. But people tend to say, oh, I've been cursed, I've been hexed, I've been whatever. And then they live in that and
They live in it and
yes.
it's awful.
Yes.
Okay. Oh God, somebody doesn't want me to speak. Sorry, I can't help myself. Perfect example. There's such thing as bad luck and it has nothing to do with spell work. I have always had bad luck with cars. The majority of my life. Since I started driving when I was 16, 17 years old, I've had bad luck. I'm 42 now. It does not mean I was cursed. All right. I had an issue with a tire this week and I had problems with it and it kept deflating and I tried to fix a flat in it and this and that and the other thing. And I finally got it fixed today. Does that mean I was cursed? No. So the belief that there's curses like just running rampant out there and everybody's out here putting curses on all of us, it's not real. Can there be some kind of spell work that has been done on you? Sure. But the thing is, you're never going to know. And if you're making sure you're protecting yourself, you're probably fine. And just because something bad happens to you doesn't mean it was a spell. Don't jump to that conclusion.
Yeah. So really, it can really open you up. Go, oh, whoa! It's time for me to heal that.
Mhm.
Time
Yep.
for me to
And that raises your vibration.
Yes.
That opens up yourself to
Yes.
more love and to more light.
Yes.
And that is not where the witches operate from.
No, they're very selfish. It's all about them. It's
Hey
all
guys, I'm
about crossing the
selfish.
free will of other people for them to get what they
Crossing
want
your
or
free
to
will
feel better,
right
or
now.
because they put spells on for all different kinds of things, right?
Mhm.
But most of them don't work. Now, the witches that are higher up there, they do different. It's a little different. The manipulation is a little different. They will physically do like get you.
She said this, Pam said this in the first set of videos that she was talking about, that she did. Witches that are higher up there. I don't know exactly what she's trying to say there. And I didn't fully understand it in the first video either. It sounds like she believes there's different layers of witchcraft, and like there's the low bottom feeders, that I don't know. It almost sounds like it's like their CEO witchcraft, and like almost like a hierarchy as in the church, or there's the president and then there's the bottom dwellers. Like, it's very bizarre to me. I'm not sure what she means by that, but in her head there's obviously some kind of leveling system. You're level 1, you're level 20. Are we in Dungeons and Dragons? Like, I don't know. Yes, there's beginners, there's intermediates, there's advanced, there's masters. Yes, but I'm not quite sure what the heck she's talking about, and she never really has clarified it yet.
Into rituals, and I mean they try. I mean, there's so many things, but the witches that most people are going to come in contact with
Mhm.
are, it just like pokes at your wounding. You get upset, and then you go, oh, okay, I have something to heal, and it's a good thing. But
As long as you have that awareness.
yes, and that's all we're trying to do is bring that awareness to you.
Bring that awareness. And
Yes, that it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And there are going to be jealous people out there. We live in a
Boy,
world
howdy.
full of jealous people.
But that has nothing to do with
Okay.
witchcraft.
Marilyn, thank you for coming.
Okay, so we're done with them. We are now at 1 hour and 11 minutes. How funny is that? Okay, but I'm gonna go back and edit the whole thing because I'm gonna cut out the commercials so that I don't get slammed for that with monetization. And there, of course, wasn't any glitches because I wasn't being watched by anybody. Go figure. So maybe it's working itself out. I don't know, or maybe going live. I don't know. We are out of Mercury retrograde to some extent. It went direct yesterday, so maybe it'll sort itself out. I don't know. Please comment below when you watch this. Did you like this? Am I being too bitchy? Honestly, I'll take the feedback because yeah, I'm kind of attacking some of the things that they're saying with my beliefs and with my perspective. Again, everything I've said is just my perspective. Everything of my beliefs, of what I've learned, of what I've experienced. I don't know these people at all. I don't know who sent them those videos. I don't know. It's just I'm putting reactions out there because I was asked to go on their channel. I mentioned this in the first video of this series. I was asked to go on their channel and give feedback from about baneful magic to a non-judgmental channel about magic. And I highly disagree with what they have to say about things. I would have considered, they never even reached out to me. One of their viewers reached out to me, but I would have considered it. I considered it, which is why I went and found their channel. And then when I saw how fear-mongering, how fear-based everything they're saying was, I just was like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to have anything to do with associating with them. And they're very fear. Witchcraft is scary. Witchcraft is dangerous. Witchcraft is negative. Witchcraft is bad. And they claim that they're healers, but they don't claim that they're Christians, but they're very, let me know. Do you think that a lot of their perspective is from Christian-based faith? Because it seems to be that to me. Do they have good things to say about some things? Absolutely. They do seem to think that they know everything about everything, and I don't like that. That's very dangerous, and I talked about that in the very first video I did, because there's always, especially when it comes to spirituality, there's so much to grow and learn forever. You're never a master. There's so much to learn, and I don't pretend to be master at anything. So I'm just sharing, you know, I'm sure there's bad witches out there. I know there are. I'm sure that, you know, there are people that do bad spells on people just because they're pissed. Yep, it happens. But the personal people that I know are not like that. And I find it interesting that she had Mary Lynn join her because Mary Lynn said that she doesn't know any witches. Okay, so what is your insight based on? Also, don't know how many witches Pam knows. Does she know 3? Does she know 70? Does she know 2? Does she know 4? Don't know. She never really says it. She keeps it very vague. So she really could only know a few, and they're those wounded ones, unhealed ones. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I hope you liked this. Please comment. Feel free to do some kind of donation. My Cash App is Mel's Divination. It's in the tap link in the description box because Mel needs to get back into work, and donations, tips are really going to help me be able to show up and do these videos when I am not getting paid to do them. And if you like this format with me doing the reaction to other people's videos, and you have something that you think that I should do a reaction to that you would like, that is based on opinions around this kind of theme that my channel focuses on. I'm not going to do reaction videos to, I don't know, OnlyFans or to something about politics. No. We're not going there. But if you think it's worth my time, feel free to email me, which is also in the description box. It's melsdivination readings@gmail.com. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.